Ever needed a bulk storage solution but found the existing solutions a bit excessive? I have the perfect solution. Access to all of the items all of the time, no waiting for an entire shulker to fill up before you can access the display, but also bulk storage in boxes when needed. Sound too good to be true? Let's go and I'll show you. Hi, d-Pixie here with a fresh technical video. Today I'll reveal the initial version of my display first bulk storage system. A bulk storage system is what you need if you have too many of a few kinds of items. The simplest solution is to do what we've done so far on Together SMP, manually put it into shulker boxes. But that doesn't scale very well. The automated solution is basically a shulker box loader, my design in the card above, that fills the boxes for you. But then you still have to pull that box out and open it if you want only a few stacks. This is where the display comes in. The display is a single shulker that is available to pick items from, and when it's empty, the system will dispense a new one from the bulk. So I looked at some of the existing bulk storage systems with shulker displays out there, but they all have the same problem. They fill up an entire shulker box before you can access any items in the display. On the Together server, we have some items, like dirt and cobble, that periodically take up a lot of space in the multi-item sorter. I would like to add bulk storage for these things, but we don't always have lots and lots of dirt. Sometimes it's just a few stacks. In an ordinary bulk storage, these stacks would be locked in the shulker loader until there is an entire shulker full, but I want it the other way around. Show me what we have in the shulker display, and if that gets filled up, then put it into bulk storage and a new shulker is dispensed to handle the overflow. So that's what we have here. A display first bulk storage. I'll go through how it works and then I'll show you some different variations, and at the end of the video I'll share some ideas for version 2 and ask you for some help, so stick around for that. There are chapters in the description in case you want to come back to the video to use it as a reference when you're building your own, and it's also part of my technical videos playlist, so have a look in there when you're finished with this one if you're hungry for more. As usual, I have Lightmatica schematics and world downloads linked in the description, so you can easily try this for yourself. And now for the part we all like best, the technical explanations. So if you're going to do this as a one wide tilable, there are a few things you have to do to the shulker box. You need an air block so you can open it. You need to be able to pick it up when it's broken. And you need to be able to put items into it. And then you also need to break it. The problem is you also need to know when it's full. And right now there is no way to measure the fill level of the shulker box because you can't put a comparator anywhere and get a reading. You can't read through pistons or hoppers, and you can't read diagonally. You can't read from above or below anyway, so you're kind of stuck when it comes to one wide tilable solution. So I started working on a two wide tilable solution instead. We'll get back to the one wide tilable solution later when I ask you for some help. I have some ideas on how you might be able to do it, but I'm not sure I can do it. Maybe some of you can. So this is the current system. It's two wide tilable, as you can see, and I also mirrored it floor to ceiling to get just as many bulk storage slices, like width-wise, as I would have if they were one wide tilable. It's not as neat looking, but it works. If we look at the operational principles of this system, you have access to one filling shulker box and then a double chest and technically a hopper of full shulker boxes. If we fill this shulker box, the system will break it, put it into bulk storage, and dispense a new empty shulker box that will continue being filled. The limited amount of bulk storage in the system is a result of the design goals. We needed a bulk storage system that lets us access the items even if there are just a few items in the system, while dealing with some overflow, but we don't deal with massive farms or massive amounts of items, like millions of items. So we don't really have the need for massive bulk storage halls like you see on WaveTech or SciCraft. So for us, at least for now, one double chest should be enough. This is a design limitation of the system. You can't easily extend this bulk storage. When that double chest is full, you can't really add a new one because there isn't really space underneath. If you try to put another chest here, you'll interfere with the hoppers, the boxes will get sucked out, etc, etc. So if you needed more bulk storage than this, you would have to do some serious redesign of the plumbing underneath. And speaking of the plumbing underneath, this is the empty shulker filling line. You have small hopper chains going either way to fill the dropper dispensers that then place the box. They're locked by redstone torches so that the chains do not pick up any unnecessary shulker boxes. Ideally, you should only have one shulker box in the dropper. This is because we don't feel like crafting thousands of shulker boxes just to fill the hopper chains, so I try to keep the locked up shulker boxes to a minimum. Guess you could do even better if you used something like an instant dropper line to dispense new shulker boxes when you needed it, etc. But this is good enough for now. If we look on the back side, you can see the dispenser that places the new box. You can see the hopper going into the side that fills the box. We'll get back to the fill system later. We have a solid block that gets moved by this piston and is the thing that actually breaks the box. And the reason we need that is, as I mentioned before, we can't read through a piston. And we need to read the fill level somehow. So we have a comparator reading the fill level through the solid block. It goes into another comparator in subtract mode that reads the full storage. You can use whatever full storage you want. The only requirement is that it gives full signal strength when read by a comparator. When this comparator switches, the observer will react and pulse the piston twice, once when it turns on and then once when it turns off. That will break the box and spit it out in the front. It will clip into the hopper, and due to Minecraft mechanics, clipped entities go up through blocks to escape. You can use this to build the old school item elevators that were used before we had bubble columns. And when the item gets pushed out on top of the hopper will pick it up and put it in storage. It's the same system on top with clipping through the hopper. The only thing you have to keep in mind up here is not to block the hopper. If you put a composter here in an attempt to decrease lag, the item will keep clipping through the composter and end up on top somewhere, and it won't get picked up by the system. It will just despawn up here. The fill level comparator is also read by this observer, so when it switches, it triggers the dispensing of a new box. As I mentioned before, you should ideally only have one box here. The reason I have more is I've done testing. So when it triggers, it will dispense the box in the system, it will momentarily unlock the hopper, and then a new box will get pushed into this dropper ready for the next time you need a new box. Those are all of the working parts of the actual box display system. They're all mirrored pretty much one-to-one on top. The only difference is this observer is pushing down instead of up to trigger the piston, and the design of the locking system up here is different due to restrictions on not being able to place solid blocks on top of the chests, because then you can't open them. You have a second empty shulker fill line up here. The principle is the same. That's the only one that's filled with shulker boxes, and these ones going out to either side are locked by torches. And you only keep one box in the dispenser. Getting back to the filling of the shulker boxes, in this example we have Impulse SV's item filters and a water stream, standard item sorting stuff. The input to this item stream will go through a multi-item sorter chest. So we're building this as replacement for one slice in the MIS V4, the multi-item sorting system V4 by Rapscallion and MetaMilo and a few others. So the items will first be sorted through the multi-item sorting double chests of filter items. So only items that are actually handled by the bulk will end up in this water stream. How this could work as a one-wide tilable system is like this. You have access to one box and bulk storage. When you want to break the box, you cover the top, break it into a composter that you can then pull over a hopper to pick it up. You put the composter back, remove the top, and dispense a new box. Right. We need this for filling. Normally this would be a dispenser that places a new empty box, but we already used this slot for filling the box. So we have to get rid of something. Can't really get rid of the pickup, can't really get rid of the filling, can't really get rid of the air block, so I guess we have to get rid of the comparator. Okay, there we go. But how are we gonna know how many items we have in the box and when to break it when we don't have a comparator? So this is the only idea I have so far, is that somehow on the fill line somewhere else you put a counter and you somehow count the number of items that's passing, and when you get to the point where the number of items that have passed is enough to fill a shulker box, you send a signal to trigger all the breaking and replacing and stuff. That's the only way I can think of to make a one-wide tilable version of this. If you have another idea, then let me know in the comments, and if you have a clever solution for the clock, then also let me know in the comments. I'll probably make an attempt at this at some point, but for right now I think the two-wide tilable version is fine, so I think I'll build that on the Together server for now. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments, and have a look at one of these videos while you wait for my next one. That's it for today. See you next time.